Hey everyone, welcome back to English Between Us. I'm Andy.
And I'm Erika. Thanks for joining us today.
So, Erica, I have to tell you something funny that happened yesterday. I was helping my friend Luis practice his English, and he kept stopping mid-sentence to translate words in his head.
Oh no, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Right? And I could see him struggling. His eyes would go up, he'd pause, and I knew he was thinking in his native language and then trying to translate word by word into English.
That's the worst. I used to do that all the time when I was learning English. Every conversation felt like a math problem I had to solve in my head.
Exactly. And here's the thing. Luis speaks pretty good English. He knows the vocabulary, he understands grammar, but he's so slow because he's translating everything.
Yeah, that's actually a huge problem for language learners. You can't speak naturally if you're constantly translating.
So I told him, Luis, you need to start thinking in English. And he looked at me like I was crazy. He said, how do I do that? I've been thinking in Spanish my whole life.
I know, right? Everyone says, think in English like it's obvious, but nobody explains how to actually do it.
Actually, that's kind of funny because that's what we're talking about today, right?
Yes, today we're talking about how to think in English, not just speak it, but actually think it, how to stop translating in your head and start processing English directly.
And this is so important because thinking in English is what separates people who speak slowly and carefully from people who speak fluently and naturally.
Exactly. When you think in English, conversations become easier, faster, and more enjoyable. You stop feeling exhausted after every conversation.
So here's a question for everyone listening. Do you translate in your head when you speak English? Do you think of what you want to say in your language first and then try to convert it to English?
If the answer is yes, don't worry, that's completely normal. But today we're going to give you practical strategies to change that habit.
Let's get started.
All right, let's talk about some vocabulary related to thinking and speaking.
First word, translate. To translate means to convert words from one language to another. When you translate in your head, you're thinking in your native language and then converting to English.
And that's what slows you down. Every time you translate, you add extra steps to your thinking process.
Do you still translate sometimes?
Honestly, when I'm tired or stressed, yes, my brain wants to go back to my native language. But most of the time now, I think directly in English.
That's good. It takes practice. Next word, fluent. We've talked about this before, but it's important here. Being fluent means you can speak smoothly without constantly stopping to think.
Right, and you can't be truly fluent if you're translating everything. Fluency requires thinking in the language.
Another key word, process. To process information means to understand and work with it mentally. When you process English directly, you don't need translation.
For example, when someone says, "How are you?" a person who thinks in English automatically processes it and responds. A person who translates first thinks, "How are you? How are you? ¿Cómo você está?" Ah, yes, I'm fine.
That takes so much longer, and it's exhausting.
Exactly. Let's talk about automatic. When something is automatic, you do it without thinking consciously. Your goal is to make English automatic.
Like when you drive a car. At first, you think about every step, turn the wheel, press the brake, check the mirror, but eventually it becomes automatic.
Perfect analogy. That's exactly what should happen with English.
Next word, immersion. Immersion means surrounding yourself completely with something. Language immersion means you're constantly exposed to English.
And immersion is one of the best ways to start thinking in English. When you're surrounded by English all day, your brain naturally starts processing it directly.
Do you think immersion is necessary or can you learn without it?
You can definitely learn without full immersion, but you need to create mini immersion experiences. Listen to English podcasts, watch English shows, think your daily thoughts in English.
That's a good point. Another useful word, pause. A pause is a short silence when you stop speaking to think. Everyone pauses sometimes, even native speakers.
Right, but when you're translating, you pause a lot, and those long pauses make conversations awkward.
Let's talk about code switching. This is when you switch between two languages in one conversation. Some people do this naturally, but for language learners, it can be a crutch.
Yeah, if you're trying to think in English, but you keep code switching back to your native language, you're not really practicing English thinking.
True, but I also think it's okay to code switch with friends who speak both languages. It's fun and natural.
Exactly, as long as you're also practicing pure English thinking separately.
One more. Pattern. A pattern is a repeated structure. In English, certain phrases and structures repeat all the time. When you recognize patterns, you don't need to translate them.
Exactly. Like, I'm going to, or I used to. These are patterns. Once you've internalized them, they come out automatically.
You know what I mean? Learning patterns is way more effective than learning individual words.
Totally.
Now, let's practice how to talk about thinking in English.
If someone asks, how can I think in English? What do you say?
You can say, start by describing your surroundings in English, or try to have simple thoughts in English throughout the day.
Let's do a quick role play about this. Hey, Andy, I'm trying to improve my English, but I always translate in my head. Do you have any tips?
Yeah, I totally get that. The best thing you can do is start thinking in English for small moments during the day. Like when you're making coffee, think, I'm making coffee. I need water. The water is hot.
So just narrate what I'm doing?
Exactly. It sounds silly at first, but it trains your brain to process English directly instead of translating.
That actually makes sense. I'll try that.
See? That was natural. He gave practical advice without being complicated or professorial.
Another phrase you can use, don't worry about making mistakes when you think in English. Your thoughts are private, so you can experiment freely.
Good point. You can also say, the more you practice, the more automatic it becomes.
Let's try another exchange about common struggles.
Erika, when I try to think in English, I don't know enough words. What should I do?
That's normal. You don't need to know every word. Just use the words you do know and describe things simply. If you don't know the word refrigerator, you can think the cold food box.
Really? Even if it's not the right word?
Yes, because the goal isn't perfect English in your head. The goal is to stop translating. Once you're comfortable thinking in simple English, you can add more vocabulary.
That takes a lot of pressure off.
Exactly. You can also say, use simple sentences at first, or think like a child learning to speak.
Let's talk about some expressions related to thinking and speaking.
First one, lost in translation. What does that mean?
It means something doesn't make sense when you translate it from one language to another. Some things just don't translate well.
Can you give me an example?
Sure. In English, we say, it's raining cats and dogs to mean heavy rain. But if you translate that literally to another language, it sounds crazy.
Exactly. That's why thinking in English is so important. You understand idioms and expressions naturally instead of getting confused by literal translations.
Another expression, think on your feet. This means to think quickly and respond in the moment, especially in difficult situations.
So when you're having a conversation in English, you need to think on your feet. You can't pause for 5 minutes to construct the perfect sentence.
Right. And the only way to think on your feet is to practice thinking in English regularly.
Here's one. It's on the tip of my tongue. What does that mean?
It means you almost remember a word, but you can't quite say it. It's right there in your brain, but you can't access it.
This happens to everyone, even native speakers, but it happens more when you're translating because you're searching for the exact equivalent word.
Good point. When you think in English, you can just describe the thing instead of getting stuck searching for one specific word.
One more. Go blank. When your mind goes blank, you suddenly can't think of anything to say.
This is every language learner's nightmare. Someone asks you a question and your mind just... nothing.
I hate when that happens. But you know what? It happens less when you're thinking in English because you're not doing that extra translation step that overloads your brain.
Exactly. Your working memory has more space for actual communication.
Let's practice some conversations. Let's pretend I'm a beginner asking you for advice.
Okay.
Andy, I really want to think in English, but I don't know where to start. It feels impossible.
I understand. It's actually easier than you think. Start with one simple activity. Tomorrow morning when you wake up, try to think about your morning routine in English.
Like what exactly?
Like, I'm waking up. I'm tired. I need coffee. I'm going to the kitchen. The sun is shining. Just simple present tense sentences about what you're doing.
But what if I don't know a word?
Then describe it with words you do know, or skip that word entirely. The goal isn't perfection, it's building the habit of thinking in English.
Okay, that sounds doable. Should I do this all day?
At first, just do it for 5 or 10 minutes. When you're comfortable with that, expand it to more parts of your day.
That makes sense. I won't overwhelm myself.
Exactly. Remember, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
See how supportive and practical that was? We broke it down into small, manageable steps.
And notice how I didn't say, just think in English all day. That's overwhelming and not helpful. Now let's talk about specific challenges people face. Erika, I've been trying to think in English like you suggested, but I keep switching back to my native language. It's so frustrating.
That's completely normal. Your brain is used to your native language. It's been using it your whole life. You can't expect to change that overnight.
So how long does it take?
It depends on how much you practice. Some people start feeling comfortable after a few weeks, some take months, but the key is consistency.
What if I'm thinking in English and I realize I made a grammar mistake?
Don't worry about it. Your thoughts are private. Making mistakes in your head is actually good. It means you're practicing and experimenting.
Really? I always thought I should correct myself.
Eventually, yes, but at first, just focus on the flow of thinking in English. Grammar perfection comes later.
That takes a lot of pressure off.
Exactly. Think like a child learning to speak. Children make tons of mistakes, but they keep talking, and eventually they get better.
Perfect. That's such an encouraging way to frame it.
Let's do one more for people who are already practicing but want to go deeper. Andy, I've been thinking in English for my daily activities, but when I have deeper thoughts or emotions, I still go back to my native language. How do I change that?
That's actually a really good sign. It means you're ready for the next level. Start journaling in English about your feelings and opinions.
Journaling? Like a diary?
Exactly. Write about your day, but also write about how you feel, what you think about current events, your hopes and worries. This forces you to process complex emotions in English.
That sounds challenging.
It is at first, but it's incredibly powerful. When you can think and express complex ideas in English, that's when you become truly fluent.
What if I get stuck on expressing a complex idea?
Write it anyway, even if it's imperfect, or say it out loud to yourself. Sometimes speaking helps more than writing.
Okay. Any other tips?
Yes. Start having imaginary conversations in English. Pretend you're talking to someone and practice what you would say in different situations.
Like rehearsing.
Exactly. It sounds strange, but it's one of the best ways to train your brain to think in English under pressure.
I love that. I'm going to try it.
See how we gave progressively more advanced tips? That's important for learners at different levels.
So how can you use this topic in conversations?
Well, if you meet other language learners, you can ask, do you think in English or do you still translate?
And that's actually a great bonding question. Everyone who's learning a language understands that struggle.
You can also share your strategies. I've been trying to narrate my day in English, or I started thinking in English and it really helped my fluency.
And remember, you agree and then add something, like, I still translate in my head all the time. I know, right? I used to do that too. What helped me was...
See how you validate their experience and then offer encouragement or advice?
Exactly. Don't make people feel bad for translating. Everyone does it at first.
Another tip, when you catch yourself translating, don't get frustrated. Just notice it and try to shift back to English thinking.
Yes, be patient with yourself. This is a process, not an overnight switch.
We've been talking for a while now about how to think in English and stop translating in your head.
We covered vocabulary like translate, fluent, process, automatic, immersion, pause, code switching, and pattern.
We talked about practical strategies like narrating your day, journaling, having imaginary conversations, and starting with simple thoughts.
And we discussed expressions like lost in translation, think on your feet, it's on the tip of my tongue, and go blank.
Remember, the goal isn't to never translate again. Even fluent speakers sometimes translate in their heads. The goal is to reduce how often you translate so you can speak more naturally and quickly.
Mistakes are how we learn. Your thoughts don't have to be perfect. Just practice thinking in English for small moments throughout your day.
Start with 5 minutes, then 10, then 20. Before you know it, English thinking will feel natural.
Just pick one strategy from today. Maybe narrate your morning routine or think about what you see around you right now in English.
And be patient with yourself. Your brain is creating new neural pathways. That takes time.
Leave us a comment and tell us, do you translate in your head when you speak English? And what's one thing you're going to try this week to start thinking in English?
We read every comment and love hearing about your progress.
If you enjoyed this episode and want more practical English learning tips,
Like this video, subscribe to English Between Us, turn on notifications so you don't miss our next lessons. Keep practicing, keep learning, and remember, thinking in English is a skill you can develop just like any other skill.
every moment you spend thinking in English is progress, even if it feels awkward at first.
Thanks for being here with us today.
Bye, everyone.
Goodbye.